Hello, YNABers. My name is Jesse Meekum, and this is podcast number 8 for You Need a Budget, where we teach 4 rules to help you stop living paycheck to paycheck, get out of that nasty debt, and save a lot more money a lot faster, even for retirement, which is so far away, you may feel like you lack motivation there, or for things that are closer, like Christmas, which is just right around the corner. I've had an interesting week. I joined BJ Fogg's 3 Tiny Habits program. It was free. And BJ Fogg is a Stanford researcher. You can follow him on Twitter at twitter.com/BJFOGG. Pretty interesting stuff that he's kind of introduced me to this week. He talks about building up 3 habits, and that's a very valuable skill. And the program is interesting because he's taking a stance, he's kind of taking the approach of teaching us how, the skill of acquiring new habits, not specific habits in general. And they have to be tiny. And what I'm working on this week, I have 3 tiny habits. No one likes to floss, no one likes to budget. I like to budget, I don't like to floss. So I'm fixing the floss part. And I was also intrigued by that behavior because nobody does it and everyone knows you should. So that also sounds a lot like budgeting. So my first one is to floss 2 teeth after I've brushed my teeth. My second tiny habit is to kneel down after I've drank my protein shake in the morning. And my third tiny habit is to tell Julie thank you and give her a kiss after dinner. The key ingredient, there are 2 key ingredients in this, and this is all according to BJ. And I actually hope to have him on the podcast one of these days. I think it would be terribly interesting. So key ingredients for building a successful tiny new habit. It has to be tiny. And take morning prayer, for instance. I didn't say after my protein shake that I would say my morning prayers. My habit is that I will kneel down, and then I will likely pray after I kneel down, but that's not the habit I'm trying to build. I'm just trying to build the habit of kneeling down because that's easy, and I can do it in less than 30 seconds, which was one of BJ's criteria. The second key ingredient in developing a new habit is after. After. Way better than before. After is the trigger. So as I finish my last bite of a delicious dinner, I will know that after I finish that last bite, I should get up, tell Julie thank you for dinner, and give her a kiss. The thank you will be very sincere because she is an unbelievably good cook. But I'd like to develop the habit of expressing my gratitude to her for that more often. My other habit about the floss, also easy. Now, I don't choose to floss all of my teeth, and I actually just stole BJ's suggestion. He said floss 1 tooth after brushing teeth. I said, well, I could probably manage 2 in 30 seconds, so I'm doing 2. It's interesting because you're sitting right there flossing, and you end up wanting to do more teeth anyway. I mean, you're already started. The tough part is starting, and I think there's something to that. Starting is the toughest part, and the same with budgeting. Once you get going with it, you get this momentum, and I think what BJ's trying to do is get everyone to get some small wins and get some momentum. So I will remember to kneel down after my protein shake, and then I'll naturally pray. Or I'll remember to say thank you to Julie and give her a kiss. And naturally that will improve our relationship and help her feel better. It's a small behavior, but it ends up having big results. This is interesting in light of the question that I posted on Facebook earlier. I asked people how many accounts they had and how many savings accounts, checking accounts, credit cards. You guys have a lot. There's some of you with 1 or 2, and good on you for that. A lot of you have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One person I think had 10 credit cards for 10 different situations, I guess. I don't know what the reason is there. I think a lot of it's just legacy behavior and kind of ankle weights that you could probably shed and find a little bit more spring in your step. The interesting thing for me, I actually went to just one account, I think last year or the year before, just cold turkey. I said, Julie, we're just doing the debit card. I don't want to reconcile anything else. I don't want to make any other decisions. It just is the debit card whenever we spend money. She was like, cool. And then we closed down our savings accounts. We put that all in the checking account. No more use of the credit card. I just cut them up. And we were done. So I liked that. I mean, we had all of our savings in one account. I could reconcile that thing so quickly. It was unbelievable. It worked really well. It was very efficient. I was only afraid of exposure. I was afraid that all of our savings, everything was in one place. So if anyone ever did get a hold of our debit card, they could drain us quickly. And we would probably have to move on to credit cards to float ourselves until the bank can get it all sorted out. I just didn't want to deal with that at all and ended up saying, okay, Julie, let's move back to a credit card and a checking account. So keep in mind, we are minimal compared to a lot of you. And I noticed as I'm spending throughout the day, I record transactions in my phone. I used to never have to answer the question of which account I should use. It was always the checking account. It was like it was eliminating an entry for me, eliminating a data field for that transaction. I didn't have to put it in. Now suddenly I find with two accounts, I'm having to think, oh, did that go to the credit card or did that go? Oh, no, I'm at Costco, so this is checking, or I'm here, so this is credit card. One more question. I can't imagine how you guys deal with this, budgeting on the go, entering transactions on the go, when you're having to choose between 6 or 7 or 8 different accounts. Granted, payees, as far as the iPhone, coming to the Android, but payees automatically are detected based on your location if you opt into that feature, and they will choose which account you ever used, you had used last for that category, but still, that's not surefire. You could change for obvious reasons. If you never can change because you only have one account, it's solid. So I have a little more friction in my entry process when I add a transaction. And I think friction is exactly what BJ is trying to get us away from. We want a frictionless experience when we're developing a new habit. And I want you guys to develop the habit of entering your transactions and forgetting about the bank, leaning on the bank as your primary means of data entry. The bank is there to true up and to make sure that you haven't missed anything, but it should not be the primary means of data entry. It's a couple days too slow a lot of times. It's a regurgitation of what you should already have in your budget, as long as you're staying on top of things. The best way to do it is with your phone. Now, I don't mean to pitch the phones. They're $5, not the phones. The software for Android or iPhone, it's $5. And the podcast, not really a pitch or anything. If you don't want to swing the $5, that's fine. When I started working with the beta 2 years ago, I couldn't believe how it changed my behavior, made me more aware of my spending. And so I'm a big fan of the mobile. And you're going to be seeing a lot more from us in the future that is all about reducing friction for you as you enter transactions on the go. And I don't mean having the banks push the data to you. I mean you having a behavioral change where you develop a habit, a tiny habit, of recording spending after you've just purchased. You will love it once you're there. And I think we'll have a whole army of people that are hyper aware of their money, yet not worried about it at all, if you can imagine that. Anyway, this is a tiny podcast because we talked about 3 tiny habits. I want to thank BJ Fogg. Remember, it's twitter.com/BJFOGG. Hopefully we'll have him on sometime in the future. I would love to pick his brain about changing behavior. Anyway, I want to thank him for this kind of spurring my thoughts and let me participate in the 3 Tiny Habits program this week. I'm killing it. Monday, I didn't do any of them. And then Tuesday, Wednesday was solid, and I think it'll be good going forward. I'm actually recording this podcast midweek because Taylor's coming into town for some strategy discussion. He's our lead developer, for those that didn't know. Anyway, until next time, follow YNAB's 4 rules, and you will win financially. You have not budgeted like this.